Good morning, everyone. My name is Erin Sidwell. I am with eMaint and Fluke, and my job here today is just to have a little chat with you. We're all in the food and beverage industry and used to meeting in person, so this is a little different for me. And what I was hoping is that a few people would join in here and that we could have a conversation about food and beverage. We'll give everybody a couple of minutes to join in and see if we can have any guest requests or any live questions, and I would be happy to help out with you guys and we can have just a little chat here. The idea is that we're all going through kind of some difficult times right now, and I'm not really used to people diseases. I'm used to more talking about crop diseases and what's going on out there in the field. And so if we get a few people to join in, we can have some questions and some live chat about what's going on at your business and maybe how things have changed, and put that a little bit in the context of operational discussions. And so that's really what my specialty is. I came to this organization from 7Cs. I spent 14 years in the produce industry. I know many of you from out there in the field. And the idea is that we can meet together even though we are not in person. And it looks like Jean just joined us, so thank you, Jean. I appreciate your participation today. Again, my name is Erin Sidwell. I am with eMaint and Fluke, running a little food and beverage chat. I know there's a lot of different things going on in the industry today, and actually, for those of us who are in the fresh space, we're competing with a really important event today. The United Fresh Convention is live for the first time ever in its history, in its very long and storied history in the produce industry. And there's some things that they've been talking about that I found really interesting, and I don't know if you've had a chance to tune in there at all, but they've been highlighting chefs and businesses still bringing fresh produce and fresh food out to the industry and still working to serve their customers in the best way that they can. And I found some of those highlights to be really inspirational. The idea today is about spreading good news to get our industry back on its feet again. Food service, food processing came to nearly a screeching halt in March, and wanted to have a little reset conversation with everyone about how we can move forward together, how industry is changing, how we can perhaps even streamline our operations to be more effective, to serve our customers, to serve our employees, so that we can all stay safe and productive and working out there in the field that we love so much. Are there any live questions? Would everybody like to engage a little bit? Tell me a little bit what's going on out there for you. For me, I hear conversations every day about food service providers and food manufacturers who have pushed through. They have been on the ground every day, getting to work, having their temperature taken, getting back on the floor, and making pasta, making canned food, getting our dairy out there, our meat production. I work with some of these people from a maintenance and reliability perspective. We talk about tools and sensors that can help them monitor their operations remotely and give you some options on how you can still stay on top of the pulse of your equipment and your operations and stay safe at the same time. So some of the things that people have talked to me about perhaps is that this is the first time in years that they've had leverage with retail customers. Retail customers who have had the expectation that they have 250 SKUs, and now they've put out a menu of here's our top 10 things that we're going to produce. I would like to welcome you to the discussion today. For those of you who are just joining, we want to talk a little bit about our industry, our space, how we're helping each other. Again, my name is Erin Sidwell. For those of you just kind of joining us today, if you want to have this conversation, we can do it in a live way, hopefully sometime in the future. But for right now, this was the best way that we could think of in order to get together. So I mentioned the United Fresh Convention a few moments ago. They've highlighted chefs, they've highlighted food service, food processors, food manufacturers, and now finally some of our restaurants coming back online. And many of you have production that goes specifically to school districts or specifically to the restaurant sector? How have you been able to shift your production? What has it done to your lines, to your downtime? How has this affected your employees? So these are some things that I talk about with people all the time. We have some discussion points coming in. Looks like we're having some challenges with the live video, but I'm glad to be back here with you. My name is Erin Sidwell. I'm with Fluke and eMaint, and I'm looking forward to talking with you all today. I am interested to hear about you and your experience and what's going on in your businesses right now, and wanted to let you know that there are others out there having the same challenges you are. And so this is the time to really spread some of that good information that can help each other as we go out there. We can talk more about sensors. We can talk about remote technology, how you are helping your organization to be more operationally effective during these times. And we are looking forward to coming out of this on the other side with perhaps some good ideas on how to increase our interactions with our customers, how to try different things. Here's a bit of a question for you. Wanted to think about, who's driving those technology decisions right now? Is it coming from your IT department right now, or is it becoming because we have to make adjustments with everything that's going on with the pandemic that we have out there? And is your customers driving decisions? Is it your IT department? Is it your operational department? Or is it your equipment? Are you just trying to be reactive and get through this situation today? Wanted to open it up to the floor a little bit. If we have some others who have joined us as well, are there certain features that you have found that are missing in your operational department? Are you looking for something more? How have you changed the way that you interact with your customers? I want to give it a little pause and say thank you to everyone for joining us today. Again, I'm Erin Sidwell. I am with Fluke and eMaint, and looking forward to having other connections like this as we talk about some of the product innovations that you have out there, some of the ways that other customers and other clients in the food industry are dealing with challenges. I kind of wanted to hear about how everyone was dealing with their maintenance operations. Is your equipment up and running? Are you having troubles with that? How are you keeping staff in place? How are you keeping staff healthy? What are some of the changes that you've made? These are some of the things that I would love to hear from you. I can tell you, a few stories about the produce industry and things that we've experienced, but there are people right now who are doing that live. The United Fresh Conference is happening right now, highlighting chefs and food service and others who are having positive interactions with their customers right now, bringing food to our country, because that's what we've been doing. So I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to all of the food producers out there, to the truck drivers, to the bay dock loaders, to everyone maintaining those freezers and coolers, making sure that everyone has safe and healthy food. Want to be sure that all of you out there know that you are appreciated in our industry, that we thank you, and we know that it takes a lot to go to work every day and to leave your families. And we appreciate the way that the food and beverage industry has kept running in order to serve our country, to keep us with fresh food, fresh vegetables, fresh meat. I spent 13 years at 7Cs. I did marketing, I did sales, I did customer visits. I spent a lot of time walking up and down rows of produce, mostly tomatoes, and wanted to share with you some of that experience, because I know what it's like to miss holidays, miss Christmas, miss other things, because you've got phone calls coming in, and it's normal, and our industry keeps going no matter what is the point, and you all have really kept that focus. So while we're here today, I am Erin Sidwell. For those of you who just joined, thank you so much for watching, and with eMaint and Fluke, and we're here to help with food and beverage and have that conversation. So for those of you who would like to reach out, I would suggest visiting accelix.com, ACCELIX.com, so that you can see some of the things that we're doing to help you be more operationally effective and more remote during this time. As you can see, I'm in my home office. I know that many of you have spent time, some of you at the plant, splitting weeks week here and a week at home so that you can make sure that you have enough space and enough distance between people to maintain safety. And again, I know that business came to a screeching halt for those of us who serve that food industry space, who serve restaurants and schools and churches and all of the other public facilities out there where people go and eat and share a good time, because that's what our industry is about, is sharing food and bringing happiness and health to those around us. And I wanted to thank you all today for taking the time. I hope that you will join us for another one of these events at fluke.com. You can find more information about our live tools and sensors so that you can get a live feed on your equipment, maybe some space between your employees, allow you to monitor those machines safely, have a total picture of your asset health from wherever you are. And looking forward to connecting with you in the future. Thanks so much for joining today. In case there are any other questions, I'm happy to answer. You can always reach me. You can reach out on LinkedIn. I am there, Erin Sidwell. And you can find me to ask any questions in live space. You can always connect on eMaint. And I did have one question come in from Mitch, and he wanted to talk about industry associations and resources available to help with problems that we're facing. Absolutely. There are many, many out there. UnitedFresh.com. Right now they are hosting the United Fresh first virtual trade show that they've ever done. And so they're connecting all of the other suppliers out there for fresh food and produce right now who would normally have a booth. And there's thousands and thousands of them typically. It's usually about 6,000 different distributors and wholesalers who are there to assist each other and network. You can reach them online right now at the United Fresh 2020 live event. You'll find other connections with chefs and food service and retail there. You can also reach out on FMI. FMI is the Food Marketing Institute. The USDA puts out information every day for safety guidelines and updates on what is the best practice for reopening. How can you keep your employees the safest? What are some of the cleanliness practices? Have you added hand wash stations? Have you made sure that the eye wash stations are ready and available? What kind of equipment do your people need to protect themselves, to stay safe? And then finally, another good source is honestly, it's called a packer. It's an industry rag. Used to come in the newspaper format and you get it to the office once a week. It's been fantastic in terms of live information sources. In terms of how COVID has impacted food and beverage, this question has just come in from Mark. It's been hard to articulate how much it's impacted food and beverage. Everyone has kept working in the food manufacturing, food processing, and agricultural crop zones. The plants don't stop. The animals don't stop. They need to be fed, they need to be grown, and they need to be distributed. So I think one of the major things that people are going to focus on in the future is the supply chain and making sure that they have a balanced portfolio of customers, not just food service, not just retail or just a school district, allowing egg producers and milk producers, dairy producers who didn't have an outlet for their product to be able to shift that production more easily. I think then another thing that it's done is pared down SKUs for people in their manufacturing facilities. It's given people a little leverage. So say you're a large pasta maker and you used to have 252 SKUs, and it would drive you crazy as you change your packaging from line to line, trying to meet all these orders in these specialty packs. Have you been able to go to your retailers and say, this is my new menu of SKUs and this is how I want to fill the shelves with penne, and allow you to keep feeding America? Does that answer some of your question, Mark? Some of the things that people have done is put in increased safety procedures because of COVID. There has been some increased auditing practices. So those of you who had food and service audits paused, whether that be SQF, Primus, OSHA, those audits paused during a particular time because you couldn't come on site. But now I think that those audits are going to resume as the FDA gears back up. I would say look for job openings at the FDA for those of you who need them, because they're going to need auditors. They're going to need a lot of them, and they're going to be coming to visit your facilities quite soon. And so organizations have looked for other ways to track those inspections. Fluke offers an asset management solution. It's called eMaint, eMaint.com. It's where you can find more information on that. It's part of the Excelix platform for reliability, and it allows you to track inspections, provide live audit reports, and see graphically where you are on your preventative maintenance, where you are on your safety measures, and how those things dovetail together for a healthy organization and get that stamp of approval that you need on your audits. And it allows you to do it digitally so that you're not sorting through days and days of paper across from each other at a table, because that's not going to be the way of the future. Any other questions out there? Mark, did that touch a little bit? It says yes, thank you so much for that. I hope that did help. I know that we said that earlier in the call that food service came to a screeching halt, but some of those things have been distributed. I've heard of large food groups, large retail establishments who maybe had huge chains and lots of unemployed waitresses and chefs and waiters and staff and hosts and all of those people, and those restaurant packs that they were buying of meat and eggs and dairy and pasta and the things that they would use to normally produce a menu were getting distributed to their own employees. So again, great thanks out there to the industry for keeping going, for finding ways to feed your own people and keeping feeding America. And if there are no other questions out there today, I just wanted to say thank you for everyone to tuning in. I hope to be able to do this again in the future. I hope it was valuable for you. It was a good learning experience for me, and I hope that we can connect with each other in the future. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon. Thanks everyone. Visit fluke.com, excelix.com, or connect with me on LinkedIn if you have any additional questions today. Have a good one.